Hello, welcome. Welcome to my channel, 1111 Oracle. Now, if you're new, welcome to the family. Welcome to my channel. Make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. And I hope you like this reading. This reading is why did you come here? Why did you decide to come to Earth in the first place? We're going to get a little bit more clarity on that. You know, what were some of the reasons? Sometimes when we're here in the 3D, we can feel stuck and we kind of forget what our mission was and what's the point of everything in general. Just being in the 3D can be a pretty jarring experience for a lot of us, especially those of us who are very spiritually inclined. So my question to you is, let's look into why you came here in the first place. And so if you're ready, you can go ahead and go to the timestamps. Now, if you're a returning subscriber, I know I've been MIA for over a month, quite a long time. And I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, apologize to you if you were waiting for a reading on me. Although I'm sure you have lots of interesting things going on in your own life. You don't have to, worry about a reading coming in from me per se. But anyway, here I am again. And I sincerely apologize to that time that I just kind of was in outer space, maybe. No, but for reals, I haven't been here for a little while just because, like many of us, just got caught up with a lot of things, and it was just kind of difficult at one point to manage my schedule. And so I'm back. I'm back, and I will hopefully be pumping out readings more regularly. I won't necessarily start off with 3 readings a week. I might just do 1 or 2. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to promise anything, but I will definitely be pumping out at least, a few more, and then I'll be picking up the pace when it comes to the end of the month in July and August. I'll really be picking up the pace and pumping out a lot more videos. So I look forward to reading your comments again and connecting with you. And anyway, let's get started with the reading. So, well, before we do, actually, let's take a look at the choices. So we have 3 choices here. Choice number 1 is dream. Okay. Choice number 2 is hope. Choice number 3 is, can't really see it very well. Well, it says patience. So we have to be patient. We have to be patient with the lettering to appear, apparently. Oh, that's really putting the word into action. So anyway, here it is. Patience. That's number 3. Okay, let's get going. Number 1, dream. Okay, number 1, let's take a look at why you came here to Earth. What was your point in coming here? We're going to use 3 decks. We're going to start off with the Starseed Oracle deck. Okay, I'm going to do my very fancy shuffling. Not, as you guys know, I'm a terrible shuffler, and if you didn't know that, well, you get to be privy to my masterpiece shuffling here. All right, so, whoa, why did you come here? And I'm hearing just to take 1. 1. 1 is all we need. Okay, we're going to take from each deck. So the next one is, well, le sens de la vie. It's in French. I guess the essence of life or the meaning of life, or I don't know. I don't know how I can translate that exactly for you guys, but basically, what is, these are kind of like career cards. Anyway, why did you come here? And I'm getting strong pull for that one. And, you know, please remember this is a generalized reading. If you want something more personal, please reach out to me for a personal reading. If not everything resonates, that's okay. It doesn't have to. You know, that is all right. Okay, how am I going to do this? I gotta make some space. Okay, last deck is one of my favorites, the Fairy Forest. You can see that. Yay. So, if you guys don't know, I am very into the Fae realm and the fairies and the elves and the gnomes. I'm kind of a giant nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff. I hope maybe you resonate with me. Maybe you don't, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Why did you come here to Earth? All right, let's take a look at the cards. Okay. So we have animal or animals. You may have a very special connection with animals, or you may work with animals, but let's take a look a little bit deeper into that. You have star brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. I'm getting a strong feeling that this group, you have a strong mission to bring awareness to animal intelligence and how animals, maybe you're supposed to rescue animals, or even just, you know, not necessarily do this full time, but there's something obviously very heavy with animals, and you do have two owls here, so you may want to look up owl totem. That may be of significance to you. Oh, actually, sorry, they're not owls. They are, I don't know, what kind of an animal is that? You tell me. Is that like a hawk or something? Anyway, you tell me in the comments. And then we have the golden unicorn. So of all of the cards, we took out a unicorn. I mean, we could have taken out a fairy or something like that from this deck because it is a fairy oracle, but definitely this group, you came to Earth to work with animals. You came to Earth to bring awareness to animals. You came to Earth to bring understanding to their way of communicating, and some of you even be animal communicators. You may want to go in rescue missions where you save animals from, you know, just deplorable situations where they're being abused, or, you know, for example, maybe you save pit bulls. Unfortunately, a lot of people who, you know, I shouldn't say a lot, some people who buy pit bulls look at their size because they're a little bulkier, and they think these could be great aggressive dogs, and so we're going to pit them against each other. Maybe is that why they're called pit bulls? I don't know. And then, you know, you can use them in a dog fighting ring, and it's so horrifying and so abusive and so terrifying for the animal to experience. And of course we know that, well, pit bulls are actually, for those of you who do know pit bulls very well, they are called the nanny dogs because they're excellent with children. They're actually big babies. They're very, very sweet, 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 sweet doggies. So let's really dive in here. I'm getting a lot of different things. There's this very you know, diverse group. Some of you are very, very spiritually inclined, so just take what resonates. Some of you are very spiritually inclined, and if you were to come to me in a reading and to request a reading, I might say that you were an animal in a past lifetime or many lifetimes past. You may have been some kind of mystical type of animal in another dimension, like a unicorn or a phoenix or a dragon or something like that. And you may have certain connections to mythological creatures and maybe interested in that. And so you're sort of this great protector, this great spiritual protector and warrior. And you come in to really protect animals. And sorry, excuse me. Hands up, hands up. Oh. So sorry. And as we speak, sorry for that. My dog is my dog himself is a rescue dog, and he was having a nightmare. And so that happens to him every now and then. So I was just waking him up from his bad dream, and he's okay now. Anyway, that might be all the more sign to you that, he was abused. My dog was abused. I don't know his history literally on paper, but, just being an intuitive person, being able to connect with him, I was able to see the kind of really sad experience that he had in his first few years of life. And unfortunately, he was not treated very well. And so now he's in a loving home. My husband and I love him very, very much, and we give him lots of treats and all kinds of things and walks and all that stuff, cuddles. And so you may be very interested in doing just that. That might be that might be an interesting confirmation from spirit for you that you really come here to help to save and protect animals. This was your main reason for coming to Earth. I mean, of course, that's not the only reason, but this is one of the main reasons for you wanting to come to Earth, wanting to really protect these nonverbal beings who are very intelligent in their own right, but who are not able to express that in a way that humans can understand, and therefore, just by the nature of, a lot of humans and the way, we can react to each other. We have all sorts of insecurities and complexes of our own. And some people with really big, big insecurities and complexes will take out their frustrations and insecurities on the more vulnerable, thinking that, well, they're not as intelligent, so it doesn't matter. And the truth of the matter is that they're hyper aware and very emotional beings, so they feel things very deeply. And and unfortunately, a lot of people just don't get that. They just don't, it doesn't click. And for me, that's kind of ironic that those people would be calling themselves intelligent when that would be a great lack of intelligence, in that just discrepancy of not being able to understand that, hey, just because you don't speak doesn't mean you don't understand. And I think that's really what you're doing. You're coming in to save animals. You may be able to communicate telepathically with animals. Now, if all the spiritual stuff doesn't resonate and you're like, what? I don't really get that. Maybe something that is new that you didn't know about yourself that you may want to explore, or it could just be that you have a very, very big heart, and whether you're spiritual or not, whether you practice any kind of spiritual techniques or not, you are spiritual. We're all spiritual beings regardless. And, there is a recognition in the animal kingdom. When they see you, they recognize your aura, and they can really feel the warmth and your naturally caring and understanding vibration. So they will be very drawn towards you, and that'll make it easier to connect with them as well. So you've come to Earth to bring a lot of awareness and understanding to animals. And you have a lot of, may I say, you have a lot of animal guides. You may have some native ancestry, or you may be very connected to some kind of shamanic culture, some shamanic cultures or rituals. And you may want to utilize that wisdom and that knowledge that you bring, because I do believe that it is going to help you understand and protect and translate that intelligence, the animal intelligence, to others that much more, right? So it'll help you to protect and communicate with animals that much more, just tapping into this shamanic, tribal, or sort of your ancestral earthy kind of roots, right? Whether you have native roots or you're just interested in general. It could mean that maybe you're not, ancestrally by, blood in this lifetime linked to any kind of native tribes, but I guess we all are, essentially, if you really, really go back far in time enough. But it could mean that you have a lot of past lifetimes where you were native, or where you were a shaman, and so you connect very strongly with that, right? Yeah, I would definitely consider I would definitely consider just reading up more on animal behavior and animal understanding, and just really, really, really getting into that. I think it could help you a lot. Not that you don't already know so much, but it's just going to help you even more reach out to these animals. You might also be an educator, and you might educate people. You may not rescue animals, but you may educate others about animals. For example, you may educate others about the horrors of factory farms. You know, not necessarily that you're vegan or vegetarian. That's not necessarily the case, although I'm feeling like a good portion of you most likely could be. But that's not necessarily the case at all. You could just be more conscientious of where you buy your products versus just going to the grocery store and getting generic samples from, you know, that come from these big factory farms, right? When you think of it, right, the natives themselves would hunt, like they would only hunt when it when they could, you know, and they wouldn't use more than they needed to, and when they would take a life of an animal, they would always thank that animal, and they were always very respectful to the life that the animal had. So it was never a question of hunting for sport or just hunting without any consideration of that that soul's life on Earth. Anyway, that's just rambling here on a tangent. But, you know, I find all of it very fascinating, and I think it's so noble of you and wonderful that you are so drawn to helping animals. I also want to say that you have a very yellow aura. You have a brilliant mind. You're also very cheery, optimistic, and a very optimistic kind of person. And animals are generally drawn to this. And getting that you have a mixture between, you know, have some green, some blue, and some yellow in your aura. You know, could be different variations of those color combinations for you, but you definitely, a lot of you have these three colors within your aura, and many of you too have a significant amount of purple, so purple and yellow and green, for instance. Anyway, animals are very, very drawn to your yellow aura. I don't know if that resonates with you, but if it does, and if you've been told that you have a yellow aura, or if you've been even able to determine that your aura is yellow through, you know, seeing it literally or in your mind's eye, let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, I hope that that brings you some confirmation and that sort of brings a smile to your day. And that is your reading, my friends. And I wish you a wonderful day or night. And I look forward to seeing you, not seeing you, but talking to you in the next video. Hello, number 2, and I'm sorry, I'm just being a little slow. I'm just organizing everything here, getting everything ready for you. Okay, let's start off shuffling from this one, this Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. I have them in French, but it doesn't really matter. And so let's do that and see. What is going on? What is going on? Okay. Everything's all over the place and shaky. And you, I don't know, you may feel the same way. My apologies for that. Okay. Maybe there's an earthquake in your area or something, but I don't know. Anyhow, you'll let me know if that somehow triggered something in you. Let's shuffle the cards and let's see, you know, why you came here. Why did you come here? What are some of the reasons you have for coming here? I just heard in my mind too to put order in chaos. Put order into chaos. You may have grown up with a very chaotic sort of upbringing, there, or just maybe a lot of chaos around you in general. And part of your, part of the reason is that you are sort of the the order bringer. It's not really a title, I guess, and I'm just saying it now. You bring order to chaos, so that might be significant for you. Side note, you're very protected by your guides. You have an archangel, Archangel Uriel, Uriel. I am not familiar with that archangel. I'm not too familiar, but it just came to mind, so you may want to look that up, Archangel Uriel. I'm going to shuffle again, because I was told to shuffle again. Oh, there we are. You're very sensitive. You're an empath, or you're an HSP. You might want to look into that. The first card that comes up is guérisseur, which means healer. So yes, you have healing abilities. You did come here to heal yourself and to heal others, is what I am getting right off the bat. Okay, I'm going to look at the next deck. No, don't fall. All right. My deck was just about to fall off my table here. Okay, so I'm looking at the Starseed Oracle deck. Let's take a look. I'm going to shuffle the cards. Why did you come here? This is really fascinating. So I want to show you two cards that show up, but I'm only going to keep one of them. What? No, never mind. I'm being told to keep both of them. So we're using two decks for you. You have cracked open. Sorry, I should have shown you that. So it's interesting because we talk about my camera fell. I was almost going to drop the cards. It says cracked open, and then the keywords here: rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So it may be that your life feels very chaotic at the moment. There's something about your experience now that's just kind of all up in the air. And the last card I have here is the Cosmic Heart. Devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. You have a gigantic heart, definitely an empath for sure, and you have definitely come here. At this point in your life, right now, there's a lot going on. So even before we can think about healing others, you also have to consider that you came here for yourself, not just for others. And before you can really be a healer, you have to be able to heal yourself, right? You have to practice on yourself, okay? You have to make sure that, you practice what you preach. And so right now, you are in a process of healing yourself. And it could feel kind of lonely sometimes, because while you're having this experience of healing yourself, you might be wondering, well, where are the other people around me to help heal me, heal my suffering? Why is it always me that has to heal others? But then where are the people to come in and heal me? And it could be a very frustrating process. I'm getting for a lot of you, you've kind of lost that light. You can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel, or it almost feels like you're enshrouded in this darkness a lot of the times. And so the reminder here is that it's like, okay, I'm going to give you two sort of, I'm going to give you a little historical lesson, I suppose, if you will. And then I'm going to give you a little analogy. So if you receive the card of cracked open and rock bottom and all that, think of it this way. There's so much light and beauty and brilliance in you, in all senses of the word brilliance. Okay, we're talking mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, psychic, right? All of those layers of existence. You have so much brilliance in you. In fact, I'm getting a lot of you are maybe even geniuses and you don't realize it. Okay, so you're just brilliant. You have this brilliance in you. Okay? Now, let's not mistake brilliance and genius with superiority or having a high IQ, because I don't believe that that is necessarily mutually exclusive. First of all, no one's better than the other. But also, a genius is not necessarily someone who has a high IQ, in my opinion. A genius is someone who has these crazy, outside of the box ideas and insights that sort of seemingly come from nowhere. And you have this just like very different approach to doing something that is ingenious, right? Mozart was a genius. I think, in my opinion, Tim Burton, I'm not giving the obvious examples like Albert Einstein, because everybody knows those, but like Tim Burton, I think, is a genius. Just the creations that he comes up with is just out of this world. Like, who would have thought anything like that? So in my opinion, that would qualify him as a genius. And so we have different kinds of geniuses, right? So in some dimension of your life, you are a genius, and you have this brilliance, this gorgeous aura, this brilliance that just shines out of you. I'm feeling a lot of crystalline energy as well, a lot of sparkles within your aura, I just want to say. A lot of gold and silver sort of crystal, and then crystal sort of specks just floating around in your aura. It's just a beautiful, gorgeous aura. And you don't see that. And it's almost like your spirit guides in the universe are saying, if only you can see how beautiful you are, if only you knew how beautiful you look to us. And as you're sitting there in your darkness, you can't see the light because you are that light. Isn't that a powerful thought? I'm really drawn to the heart over here in the corner. And so you may be feeling, alone. You may be feeling like, there's no one around maybe to give you a hug or whatever. I'm sending you a virtual hug. I'm sending you some Reiki actually right now. And hopefully you can feel that energy. All right. I'm sending you some Reiki energy right now. And I channel Reiki energy, for those of you who are interested. And I'm just feeling like you don't realize how brilliant you are. And you're not brilliant in the conventional sense. So it's not like it will even show up in an IQ test, or if it's not like it will even show up in your day-to-day practical, doings. And so you have to keep this in mind, that you may be very misunderstood, and that might be part of your healing process, that you have to come into power in yourself. You have to heal yourself. You have to know who you are. Once you know who you are, everyone's going to recognize you for that, because they will clearly see, oh, this person knows themselves. There's no mistake. It won't matter what anybody says towards you. You'll know who you are. And so I kind of got sidetracked with that whole thing, but as far as being cracked open, you need to be cracked open in order to access this brilliance. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, this consists of hitting rock bottom. Why? Because when you hit rock bottom, if it's hard enough of an impact, then you'll be able to crack open that shell. Literally, you think of throwing something down on the ground at the bottom of a well, and then you just crack that open, and out and out of that cracked open shell or whatever emerges this beautiful golden brilliance. And you'll never be able to see that until you get cracked open, right? Until you hit rock bottom, because hitting rock bottom is essential in the awakening process of opening up that shell and accessing your brilliance. You can go around hunky-dory and thinking everything's all right, but unless you hit that rock bottom, for many of you who are especially very spiritually in tune, as I see that, you just won't know how brilliant you are, because you'll still be in that shell and you won't have opened it. Does that make sense? So it's a really powerful thought. It seems like everything may be spiraling out of control, and you can't get your head on straight, and it's like, what's wrong with me? And everything was fine before. If only I can go back to the way things were when I was good and I was happy. And it's just like, it seems like you were better then, but you're actually more evolved now than you were then, oddly enough. It's all part of the journey. Don't look at your ups and downs as good or bad. It's just all a part of the journey and the experience. So like I said though, in order to really evolve and really get into your brilliance and your deep, deep joy and your deep happiness, and not just superficial like la-di-da, you need to hit rock bottom first. And that's an interesting concept. It's really can be very mind-blowing. It certainly is for me. And it's something that I kind of knew before, but it's just become making itself more and more known in my own life. So I definitely resonate with this group as well. Uh, okay, you are a healer, right? The other thing I was going to say, traditionally, when you would have a shaman in like a tribal kind of village setting, there was a sort of test where, you know, in order to be a shaman, the person had to have some kind of an illness and fall ill. Then it was physical, right? You think of in the context historically, I mean, you didn't have medical assistants or doctors or nurses or anything like that. So, you know, shaman was your best bet. And so that would be your medicine man, your doctor and whatever. Now we can kind of evolve the term shaman, since we do have doctors and nurses and whatnot. We don't necessarily need to heal people physically, although some of you may be very interested in herbology and getting into healing other people through alternative means. That being said, it doesn't have to be just in the physical. That's what I'm trying to say. You can have an emotional shaman, you can have a spiritual shaman. There's all kinds of shamans, as many, you know, just like there are all kinds of different sorts of people with different experiences and pensions. So in your case, or sorry, I'm getting distracted by my own thoughts here. So let's go back to the story. So traditionally, the shaman would go out and experience this illness, and they would be all by themselves because nobody would be able to help them. And it would be, you know, kind of a life or death situation where they would learn how to heal themselves physically and come out of it. And then once they come out of it, now they can apply that healing power to others. They know what to do. There's sort of a weird caveat with being a shaman. When you're a shaman, you're never fully satisfied and happy and fully fulfilled unless you are healing others. So it's important to take a break, and it's important to recognize your boundaries, especially if you're an empath. You need to take time out for yourself. That being said, you are going to need to go back to healing others at some point in order to really express your, you know, divine given gifts and be able to help others on their way. Now, you may not resonate with the shaman. You may actually be in the medical profession, at which point you may be dealing with some kind of a serious illness yourself, possibly physically, and then you're just learning how to take care of that, and you're coming through, and now you have this passion to help other people in the same boat. You know, the best healers are those who fully understand what the person suffering is going through because they've been through it themselves. Keep that in mind, right? If you're going to seek healing from someone, let's say a psychologist, you're going to feel more comfortable opening up if that person has been through that darkness and the depths of despair, just like you, because they're going to be relatable and you won't feel as judged, right? And they'll really know from a first-hand experience exactly what you're feeling and what it is that you need. So you are going to need to be that way in some shape or form, practice to others. If you're going through any kind of mental difficulties, you know, it is, give yourself a little bit of a break. This has been a hard year for a lot of people. And I think especially for you, being so empathic and sensitive, you're just really absorbing the energies, the global energies right now. And that's affected you in a way, in a certain sense, more greatly than it's affected others, at least from a mental, emotional point of view, and, you know, possibly spiritual and otherwise. So yeah, your journey, your reason for coming to Earth was to first hit rock bottom, heal yourself, go through that shamanic ritual process, and then then emerge as this sort of phoenix and able to heal and help others. And you're going to be a very powerful healer if you're not one already. You have a giant heart. You're very empathetic. You're very connected to the other realms. Whether you're very spiritual or not, you may be connected to the angelic realm, or you may just have a lot of ancestors around you, guiding you, maybe who have passed on and who are sort of just guiding you through your own healing. Well, see, all of the shakiness, like there's a lot coming. The tower is falling for you, right? It's your tower moment. And the tower needs to come down because the foundation is shaky and you need to rebuild that tower from scratch. But when you rebuild it, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be strong, and it's going to represent more so who you are. Not to say you're not going to have another tower moment in the future and you may be saying, oh God, I really don't want to go through this again. We're not saying you're going to go through this again, just that you may just having the human experience, you're going to have ups and downs. And just if you can find that center, that peace within you, then you can weather any kind of storm. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice if you want to take it. If you don't, that's up to you. Just offering it. It's free, so, do what you want with it. And my little bit of advice is, don't look to be happy all the time. Okay, that's a very, in my opinion, that's a very superficial and sort of almost childish goal, to be happy, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy all the time, right? And not to say that you're childish if you think that, because I have definitely always wanted to have that goal myself, but I've come to this realization that, especially being an empath and just feeling everything, you're going to feel all kinds of emotions, yours and others, and it's very easy to fall into those dark moods. This doesn't mean you're a failure at all, so you need to get that out of your head. That's why the whole pushing the positivity and happiness, concept can be very toxic, in my opinion, and it can make people who are going through a bad time feel really badly about themselves. And so that kind of defeats the purpose, right? So what I want to say to you is, because happiness is an emotion, if you only look for happiness, you're going to miss out on the full spectrum of human emotion. And that's actually going to limit your growth. Someone who's happy all the time might seem more evolved, but that's not necessarily the case. It could be, but not necessarily. The person might be stunning their growth because they don't want to go into the negative and they don't want to acknowledge anything dark. And it's really important to have that balance in life, as in the universe. There is a balance between light and dark, and there's nothing wrong with the dark. The dark brings us a lot of lessons, a lot of beauty. So what I say is, instead of striving for happiness all the time, instead strive for a sense of inner balance and peace. Even if you're feeling frustrated or angry or whatever it is, you can still find that peace within you just by taking a few deep breaths and telling yourself, it's going to be okay, this too shall pass. So if you always look for that inner peace and that inner calm, thinking of yourself, kind of like in the eye of the storm. Well, you're safe in the eye of the storm, let's say, more or less. All right, we'll go with that analogy. Or that, kind of imagery there. You're safe in the eye of the storm. It's when you kind of knock around in the storm that, now it's all difficult. So if you can find a way to stay within the eye of the storm within yourself, find that quiet place within you that no matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult and challenging and trying it may be, if you can find that inner sense of, it's going to be okay, I know who I am, or I'm finding out who I am, and I'm all right, I'm going to be all right, that kind of thing. If you can access that, sort of like a, kind of more kind of a Buddhist philosophy, I guess you can say, right? I'm not I'm not Buddhist or anything, but, I value the different philosophies from different cultures and spiritual understanding. So, yeah, if you can find that inner peace within you, you're going to find weathering the storm a lot easier. And you're not going to feel so bad if you have those negative emotions, because you can have a negative emotion while simultaneously telling yourself, all right, it's okay to feel this, but I know it's passing, and that is where you're going to get that inner peace and calm. And things will just kind of flow a lot easier for you. So, very exciting. You're on the verge of a transformation, of a metamorphosis right now. This is what you came here to do, to heal yourself and to heal others. And I feel that you're going to heal a lot of others. So you should be very proud of yourself. I hope you enjoyed this reading and group number 2. I look forward to reading for you in a future video. Okay, number 3, you have patience. Let's find out, patience, what you need to be so patient about. Okay, so I'm going to start with shuffling from this deck, the Fairy Forest, which is one of my favorites. And let's find out why you decided to come here. Why did you volunteer to come to Earth? What was the reason that you wanted to incarnate? Why did you come here? Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So you are very, you are very connected to the Fae realm. I just want to say that. You may be interested, Fae, or you maybe just like have a green thumb or into gardening or something like that. That's a side note, but anyway, all 3 of your cards, I'm getting mixed messages here. No. Anyway, all 3 of your cards are from the Fairy Forest, so we're going to go with that. So you have Salut, which in French, salut means like, well, hello, I guess. But salud in Spanish means health, so it kind of makes me think of health. And then you have the keywords, I don't know if you can see them, but vitality, health, and energy. Let's get a little bit more information about that. All right, you may want to look into butterfly or dragonfly for your totem animal or spirit animal. She who laughs. Humor, perspective, mirth. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm getting interesting downloads already. I'll share those with you in a moment. And then you have King of the Darkwood Elves. Authority, credibility, and status. Okay, so this is what I'm getting. You came here. You may be a comedian, by the way, but not necessarily. You may just make people laugh, or you may present a very different perspective. You may possibly be also a Heyoka empath. You may want to look that up, Heyoka. Maybe not. If that doesn't resonate, let it slide. But there's something about you where you offer a very different perspective to people. Now, you've come here on Earth to do just that. You've come here to offer a different perspective. And by offering a different perspective to others, you're able to allow their dark thoughts to kind of slide away so they can reassess their own thinking and change the way they carry carry themselves, the way they think about things, the way they approach their own existence on this planet. So there's something about you that has the power to change the way people think. And you came here to do just that. You also came here to have a good time. I'm just going to point that out, which is wonderful. And I think that's important. You didn't just come here for others. You came here to have a good time. You came here to explore, to experience, to be healthy, to be happy, to feel good within your own body. Maybe you're I was gonna say a bodybuilder, but maybe maybe you are, or maybe you're just really like a health nut, and part of your reason of coming into this life is just to be super super healthy and inspire others with just your positive spirit and your overall health in general, allowing them to kind of take control of their own lives. It's something I feel like in the past lifetime, you were not able to really enjoy your life to the fullest. And maybe your health, maybe you were sick, maybe there was something with your health that was weaning. So when you came back, you're like, this time I'm going to enjoy my life to the fullest. I want to go out there. I want to have fun. I want to laugh. And you know what? I get the feeling that a lot of you in this group are like, haters gonna hate, and you have a really good, healthy understanding of who you are. And that if other people don't understand you, that's fine. That's their business. That has nothing to do with you. That has to do with their own experiences, their own baggage, their own insecurities, etc., their projections of who you are, and you know who you are. So it doesn't really matter what they think. And you have this really strong faith in yourself. And just that strength alone inspires your haters, whether you realize it or not. There are a lot of people who admire. You kind of have like this effect on people where people either love you or hate you. But the people who hate you, they can't help but admire you. And they'll never admit it, or they may say it kind of casually or as like a backhanded compliment. But people admire you because you're so strong and you're just so witty and you just have this awesome way of understanding the world around you and life. You have definitely come here to change people's understanding of the world and empower them. You're not the kind of person who, if someone comes to you with a sob story, you're not going to be like, oh yes, woe is you, let's coddle you and let's create this codependent relationship. No, you're not into that at all. You are quick to say, hey, get your act together. You have had to do that yourself. You have had to experience a lot of ups and downs in your own life, and you're very resilient and tough because you've been able to keep pushing on and go through all of it and keep your good sense about you. There's a little bit of an edge to you as well, which is cool. And you may really enjoy kind of dark humor, and this kind of a side note. There's something about you that just kind of enjoys certain like edgy qualities about in others and in life. You appreciate the eccentrics and the people who aren't afraid to kind of stand out and be a little bit of badass. And you're kind of a badass yourself. I mean, you have this very vivacious, infectious kind of personality, and people like to be around you. But you're quick to cut the ties of people who are going to act like energy vampires. That's why I say you're not someone who's going to coddle others if they're just, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me all the time. You'll give them advice. You'll help them realize that it's up to them to change their circumstances around and to empower themselves. Not to say you're heartless, because obviously if someone's truly in pain and needs some help, I mean, you're not just going to ignore them, you're human. But you won't allow their misery to fester and manifest into kind of like an energetic cyst, if you know what I mean. Like you're going to say, okay, let's see here. All right, this is what I think you should do. And maybe some people have accused you of being a little too authoritative, and it's just kind of maybe people find it hard. Some people find it hard to talk to you Not that that's a bad thing, if that's more their problem than anything. Of course, no one's perfect and we can all learn to improve. We all have good and bad qualities, but in your case, it's really just that you just know who you are and you know what to do. And if people are going to waste your time with like all these side stories, yes, but I can't, but that it's because of my upbringing, and it's like, all right, you're a grown adult, upbringing or not, you should be able to manage your own experience and be able to move past it. All right. And if you're not going to get help, then, here's where you can get help, and I can help facilitate that for you. But I'm not going to hold your hand through the whole process, because you need to figure out how to be independent and kind of do it on your own. Now, just a minute, I'll be right back. Back. Just had to close the door. My husband just came home. Okay, so you are a powerhouse of energy and of just like very high intelligence here. You really know what it is that you need to do. You are more than willing to give a helpful hand if that person is going to meet you halfway. And I should have mentioned that at the beginning. But you just have this really kind of more grounded, tough personality. You may be very Taurus, or to have a prominent Taurus in your chart somewhere, or have like a lot of Virgo energy or a lot of Earth energy, Capricorn possibly as well. You work really, really, really hard for what you have in your life, and so no one can really take that away from you because you've worked for it. You have this awesome, I don't want to say imposing, because that kind of can have a negative connotation to it, but I can't really think of another word. You have this sort of imposing personality. I'm just going to go ahead and use that word. What I mean by that is that when you come in the room, like your energy is very much felt. Like you're very much there. You're very much that almost like this authority figure that even if you don't ask to be, to be given responsibilities or to lead, people want you to lead, and they know that you're able to take on a lot of things. So, yeah, you just might want to be careful with setting your boundaries up with that if people are giving you too much. But also, I'm getting that you're generally pretty good at saying, hey, you know what? I can't do it. Although that hasn't always been the case, I'm feeling. You've come a long way. You've learned to do that. And you're definitely, getting really comfortable, more and more comfortable with who you are. You really got to a point. It's really admirable. And I would really love to just say, or I just want to say to you, congratulations for all of the work that you've put in. If no one else has said it to you before, I'm telling to you now, and I hope that can help you feel some kind of recognition that, me and my spirit guides and the divine team of the stars, we're telling you a big whopping, and your spirit guides as well, of course, congratulations for all of your efforts, because it shows and you're going places. So you've come here for yourself. You've come here to have a good time. You've come here to live. You've come here to be in the moment, to be healthy, to laugh, to just go out and explore. And you're here to stay, kind of remain in a more of a positive vibration and not to be negative too long. But you're not afraid of exploring, the edginess of life, because you've gone through a lot of it, and you hold that, that kind of embeds itself into your personality, making you a little bit more edgy yourself, and kind of, like I mentioned, badass. You're here to really shift people's paradoxes and perspectives and empower them to take charge of their own lives. So pretty cool. You may be an authority figure in something. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't allow people to put any doubt in your mind. If you feel that you are aligned and in tune, and if you're not hurting anybody and you're not hurting yourself, you know who you are. Keep going for it. Keep pushing forward. You're doing an awesome, awesome job. And I would say that you came here for an amazing reason, and definitely in conjunction with your past life, you are certainly making up for any time lost then now. So I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or evening whenever you're watching this, and I look forward to reading for you in a future video. So long.